So close I can almost touch it, but alas now so far behind. Just one more crazy night would be amazing, though I'm not certain of the common ground we'd find. These old streets have changed so much since I last saw them. That trendy cafe used to be the pub, where we'd get started on pints and shots at 2 for 1 before heading down to the club. But the folks I used to know left here many years ago, and while I was certain we'd return again, these days I'm not as sure as I once was before that we'll walk these old streets just like we did back then. These old streets of this old town, where the echoes of the past now remain, consigned to grainy photographs and stories told for laughs. But will we ever walk together down these old streets again? La-di-da, la-di-da, da-da-di-da, la-da-da-di-da, da-di-da, la-di-da, 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 da-da-di-da, la-da-da-di-da, da-di-da. What day, folks? Thomas Benjamin Wilde, Esquire here. I do hope you're all keeping well. This is song number 27 of my Song a Week project. I took a week off last week, as I mentioned in the last video, because we took the dog on holiday to Norfolk, Munsley. It was lovely. I'll tell you more about that in a little while. So yes, I took a week off. So I'm back again now, and we're back to a song a week. This song, These Old Streets, was actually inspired by visiting a town that I hadn't been to since my teenage years, since kind of the late 90s really, or haven't really visited very much since then, and discovering how much it's actually changed. Not the most glamorous place in the world, Luton, where I went to sixth form college, and between 1996 and about 1999, 2000, was a place that I was massively familiar with. But then the more time you spend away from a place, the more it changes, and the less people that you know that are there. And so it really is inspired by that feeling of returning to a place that you thought you knew, and realising how much it's changed, which is what happens in life, unfortunately. This song's actually going to be included on the new album as well, which, as I mentioned before, is I'm hoping to have released for November. And if you want to hear the full version of it, I'll be sharing it later this week on my Patreon community, where you can access all kinds of exclusive materials for as little as £3 a month. So if you do want to hear the full song, head on over, follow the link in the description to find out how you can join us on there. Lots of other exclusive materials on there as well. I streamed a live show from it the other week as well. So there's lots of things on there. And all of the songs that are going to be included on the new album, I have demos for on Patreon now as well. So you can go in and hear them before anybody else, which is rather exciting. I played this song on my Flight ukulele, soprano ukulele, my go-to instrument really, for just strumming out. If you're interested in getting hold of one of these, you can follow the link in the description to the Flight website and find it on there. So as I mentioned, we took the dog on holiday last week. We weren't sure how it was going to go, but in the end, it was bloody lovely. Munsley, if you've got a dog and you want to go on a holiday, brilliant place for dog walks. People around are just used to dogs being everywhere. And also because he's quite a reactive dog, people were very respectful, more respectful than they are on the park here. So it's actually a really, really lovely time. If you want to see pictures of our holiday, I've shared a few on my social media accounts, but I've also shared a bunch more on Patreon as well, along with the last song. I think we can do this. So if you want to see more pictures of him of Luca on holiday with us, again, head over to my Patreon. The last song then was I Think We Can Do This. Again, another song that's going to be included on my album. And there's been some great reactions to it in the comments. Various people sharing their I Think We Can Do This stories. Sergeant Boucherie, in fact, says, one of the best and scariest decisions in my life was adopting a dog. I thought about it for probably over a year before finally doing it. Things were not going well at all at the beginning, but eventually everything started going right, and we spent an amazing 11 and a half years together. This is what I'm hoping our experience is going to be. He has calmed down. Luca has calmed down a lot since we got him nearly a year ago. To the point that we were happy to take him on holiday, and he actually had quite a good time. So it's that whole powering through and things getting better, getting through that crap, because things will eventually get better is the hope. Franco Walker 4662 says, great rocking tune. Congratulations on the first 6 months. Have a good holiday. Thank you very much. We did have a lovely holiday. So thanks for that. Iro Mus says, I really like this song. Album is going to be great. I do hope so. We're nearly there with it now. We're nearly there. I'm meeting up with Lee, my producer, on Monday to talk about the final stages of it and how we get it finished off. I'm waiting for a fiddle player who's going to do some, going to put some fiddle over this song, actually, These Old Streets. I'm waiting for him to come back mid-October. He's on holiday. I say he's on holiday. He's travelling at the moment. He's been away for months. And he's coming back and he's going to come and record some fiddle on that. So that should be quite good fun. Gashren says, sounds groovy. I smiled big right from the first notes. Well done. Thank you very much indeed, Gashren. Groovy's an interesting word. Not one I've heard used in relation to my music, but I'll take it. Unali Baraja 2354, I hope that's how you pronounce it. Love this song. I feel related to it when I moved to the UK from Spain when I was 23. It was all struggle in the beginning, but after like 5 years, COVID in between, it paid off. Brilliant. Well, I'm really pleased it did pay off for you. Big moves can be a scary thing, particularly moving to another country. I applaud anyone who has the guts to do that, because I don't think I ever could. So well done, and I'm glad it turned out okay for you. Sean McCulley 1853 says, your song fit the roller coaster ride for me, trying to restore an 108-year-old theatre. How did you acquire a 108-year-old theatre? And my God, what made you actually decide that you were going to try and restore it? But this is the kind of crazy things that you decide to do. From No More Fucks to Give to this one, I think we can do this. Thanks for singing What Is in My Head on a daily basis. Well, you're going to have to keep me updated on how the restoration's going with that. Is it restored now? Or are you still restoring it? I need to know more about this. Do make sure that next week you on this video you add some comments letting me know how you're getting on with it. And where is it as well? I'd love to know where it is. So there's lots of We Can Do This stories on here. Some of them are very lengthy. Really nice one from Obits 1. I went through a similar thing last year. Leaving a long-term career in health and social care. And also Moogle Girl 7850, my We Can Do This, I think, adventure. 10 years ago, I committed to move to the UK from the US to marry my beloved and start a new life with her. Fantastic. Yeah, these big decisions of changing of career, moving to a different country. You have this sense of, I guess, regret straight afterwards. Like when I dropped my job teaching, dropped the teaching hours completely. It was scary. And there's a big life change and you have to power through that. But hopefully after powering through it, things turn out better and life improves somewhat. Colleen Marine 8907 says, I've never travelled with a pet except when moving residence. The whole process seems like it'd be way too complicated for me. Let us know how you make out. So yeah, it's quite complicated for us as well because neither of us drive. So we had to book our friend who runs a pet taxi service. It was quite expensive. The 2.5 hour drive over to Norfolk, but it was worth it. It was definitely worth it, door to door. And Luca had a great time. We had a great time. We haven't had a holiday in nearly a year, so it definitely felt very nice, and so good that we're planning to do it again in January. So it's going to become a more regular thing now, which we need. Echo Vesperman says, I am also thinking of starting to play the ukulele inspired by your music, though I'm thinking of getting a tenor uke because I like the lower notes. I mean, that makes a lot of sense. Really nice instruments as well. My best friend just bought a nice recorder and a book for recorder uke duets, so I guess that is in our future. Wish us luck in sticking it out. Absolutely, and make sure you're sharing some videos with us as well. I like to see how you're getting on. It's always interesting seeing people's journeys. Jex says, please, once your tour over the wilds of Englandshire is finished, would you consider playing a few dates in Scotland? Absolutely. I am planning to come to Scotland next year for a bunch of dates, which will definitely include Inverness, because I've been offered a venue there, and probably a bunch of other places as well. So keep an eye out. I'm still working it out at the moment, but I do have plans in the spring to come over to Scotland. A name on the last video that I couldn't work out how to pronounce has come back to me and said, my stage name is Commander Ernie Paul. Long ago, some email forced me to shorten it to Commander Ernie Paul. It's just a stage name, having never served with any armed forces anywhere. So Commander Ernie Paul is how you pronounce that. Brilliant. Now I know. I will make sure I pronounce that correctly on future videos. Harold Hallam 7867 says, hey, are you cool with someone animated your song? I'm not sure whether you mean that somebody has animated it, and am I cool with that, or whether I'm cool with people animating the song in future. So I'm happy with that either way, as long as I'm credited. It gets a bit annoying when people don't credit or kind of tag me on things, because I like to see stuff. Christopher Merlot 3366 says, this album have a name? It does indeed. It does indeed. So album number 4 is going to be called Carry On While the World Burns. The title track, I'm considering whether to share it as part of the Song a Week project or to leave it as an unreleased one. Either way, you can hear it on Patreon, because I shared it on there a couple of weeks ago. But that's the title of the new album. So there we go. As I always say, make sure you're commenting and asking questions on these videos, because it makes what I'm talking about far more interesting, rather than me just rambling on about any old subject. I can actually answer questions and things that you're interested in hearing about. So a couple of live shows coming up in the next month. On the 5th of October, Saturday the 5th of October, I'll be back up in Newcastle at the Cumberland Arms with my band, The Fancy Chaps, supported by the excellent Mr. Chris Taverner. Haven't been to the Cumberland Arms for over a year, so it's going to be quite fun to get back there. And on Saturday the 19th of October, I'll be at the Birdwell venue in Barnsley as part of Scott Dunican's Big Day Out, which will feature a plethora of other fantastic artists. It's a one-day festival essentially, and we're on at about 2:00 in the afternoon, I believe, subject to change potentially. So it'd be lovely to see you if you are in Newcastle around that time on the 5th of October, or in Barnsley on the 19th of October. As I mentioned, if you're interested in getting hold of a Flight ukulele, you can find details in the description below the video. If you're interested in joining my Patreon community and accessing all kinds of exclusive materials, including the demos from the new album, all the songs from the new album are now on Patreon, as well as live streams. There's a live stream I did just the other week that is accessible on there now as well. Follow the link in the description. All the details of the live shows can be found through the link in the description as well. And that's about it from me. Thanks for watching. Until next time, stay safe and toodle pip.